Welcome back to the TOWKA Talks podcast. Today I am joined by the one and only Mr. Maximus Decimus Meridius Murphy. Now, Maximus, it is according to my sources that you are the heir of Marcus Aurelius Murphy, descendant upon descendants. Is that true, sir?
Yes, I'm pretty sure. I beat my brother by 3 minutes, so
Nice.
I'm the firstborn.
So, Max, let's just talk a little bit about your upbringing and then how you got into running and kind of just walk us through what life was like growing up for you.
Okay, let's see. I guess we gotta go way back then. Guess I grew up in Evanston, which is just outside of Chicago, just north of it a little bit. I was kind of always around running because my mom and dad would work a little bit at there's a smaller chain store up in Evanston called Runner's Edge. They worked there. I remember occasionally being in like the back storage room like we have, with like a portable DVD player, watching movies or cartoons and stuff back there with my brothers. And always been pretty active as a kid. I guess I got a twin brother and then a younger brother. We'd be outside playing a lot, and our mom would take us to parks a lot, so we'd always be running around doing stuff, riding bikes.
So you guys were pretty active growing up for the most part as kids?
Pretty active. Yeah. We would walk to school because it was like maybe a mile away, so it was a pretty easy walk.
Do you feel like being around the running store, like industry and community, helped you, like also influence wise, get into the sport of running? Like, did it have a little bit of an impact on you?
Maybe a little bit, I think. I think the big thing was, in middle school, like cross country was like cross country and distance track were the sports that I was like not bad at. So I was like, I'm gonna do these a little bit more. It definitely helps being around parents who are excited about running and being active and stuff.
Now, how is it that you have come to wear this hat? I see, because it takes a lot to wear a cowboy hat on a video like this, an episode like this. So I think people at home are kind of wondering why you're wearing a cowboy hat. Can you please go into the story of how you attained this memorable sign of awesomeness?
So I got this cowboy hat. It was I think the podium finishers of the Cowtown half marathon. I think they also gave them to the full and the ultra marathon podium runners. And I won the half marathon, so that's kind of how I got the hat.
So, like, walk me through the race a little bit, because I think it's one thing to just compete in a half marathon just for your first time to just complete it. It's another thing to run it, because you ran it in 107:30 something, right? If I'm not mistaken.
The official time was 108:46, I think. Like, on Strava, my half marathon, on Strava it says the half marathon was 107:42. It was, I don't know. I ran in the middle of the road most of the time because it was kind of a banked road, so I don't know. I ran in the middle because that was where it's the most flat. So I think it added a bit extra to it. But yeah.
So, like 5:10 to 5:15 pace, though, is what I would guess probably your pace was for the majority of the race.
I averaged 5:10.
Yeah. So most people can't do that like just for 1 mile. So the fact that you can do it for that long, it says something to the kind of athlete you are and the type of training that you do. Because you can't just wake up and okay, now I can do that unless you're just some freak athlete. Have you
Yeah.
felt like you've evolved over the course of your career to where like you can wake up and go and do a hard workout or go and do a race like that and put yourself out there? You're just confident in your ability and your talent.
Definitely more confident in my ability. I mean, I guess racing in like post college, I don't know, I felt a little more nervous for races just because it's a different environment and you're not sure exactly what to expect. But I mean, I guess I I know when I started training for the half marathon, I set out with kind of the goal of being sub 70 minutes or hour 10 minutes for the race because I thought it would have been. I mean, that's tough to do, but I felt like I could do that, and I was kind of I don't the half marathon or the Cowtown. It was kind of my getting back in shape race, like seeing what I could do, like training on my own, well, outside of school without a coach and stuff. So what was the question?
Do you feel like you've evolved over the course of your career to where, like, when you're in big races or in like half or full marathons, even though you haven't completed a full marathon yet, you're still early in your career post college. Do you feel like you're more confident and you believe in yourself more so when you toe the line versus the way you were before?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely more confident than I was before. I mean, but also as early, I like freshman year of my collegiate career, I guess, I wasn't very good. Like I ran 28:30 or something for 8K and 10:19 or 10:18 for like a 3K steeple. Where I guess the steeple wasn't as bad of a time, but it's still not that fast for Division One collegiate athlete. I guess I mean once you've I mean I've as I've developed, I mean some of that is as I've grown as an athlete, I've also done more training and more mileage. So once when you have the training, you can kind of look and say like, you've trained well, you're in a good shape to race. So you're a little less nervous about just getting completely dusted and blown out. I mean, in collegiate races, especially like cross country where there's a bunch of people and at some big meets, like you can't really be afraid that there's a fast person in their race because there's always going to be a fast person. Like I think my junior year we raced at Oklahoma State in cross season and like Wesley Kiptoo was at that race and he was a national champion in cross country. It was either cross country or and then the indoor 5K. I think he just a super dominant
Which for
racer.
people at home, if you win any NCAA Division One meet, you're very, very good.
Yeah,
Correct?
yeah. It was. Yeah, he's a pretty crazy athlete. He's now with Hoka. We got a poster over there with him.
Shout out to Hoka. This video is not sponsored, but it could be. Guys, if you have a hookup, please.
Please.
Speaking on Division One athletes, can you kind of walk us through what you and also your brother Benicio Arturo Monteverde Murphy, what y'all's kind of routine was, and how you guys maintain awesome grades in school while maintaining the life of a student athlete?
So, I guess routine-wise, I guess usually I have practice in the morning, sometimes it'd be usually early in the morning just because it's hot in Texas, and that's usually when the best weather is. So a lot of time it'd be practice in the morning, and then go eat breakfast, and then get ready for your classes. You can usually fit most of your classes in that like maybe like 9:30 or 9 to 12 o'clock range. And then on Mondays and Wednesdays were usually our weight room days, where we go to the weight room usually in the afternoon, usually around 4 or so, 3 or 4. It moved around a bit from season to season or year to year. And then I guess you just have dinner. Well, you have your evening time. I'd say, I mean, big thing was like in my first 2 years, I had okay grades. I mean, a big part of grades is just putting in the time and studying a bit more. It also helps if you have like a goal you're aiming for, or like something you're working towards. Because in the first 2 years of college, I didn't have a great idea of what I wanted to do with a degree or after college. But as I got further on, I sort of figured out what I wanted to do, and once you sort of have your goal and your target, it's easier to say like, okay, I'm gonna cut out, video games a bit and study more, and then, yeah.
Basically, you have to be more disciplined.
Yeah,
And,
discipline is
yeah.
a good way to put it, or just more disciplined about your priorities and your schedule. Like, there's like school and training, and then, I mean, if put those two things, like, those are the top list things, and then after that, you kind of fill in with what's available, kind of.
What was the biggest lesson that you learned in college as far as being a Division I athlete?
Biggest lesson.
Not to put you on the spot.
Yeah. Let's see. I mean, I guess there's a lot of things you can learn. I feel like one thing is being part of a team. I mean, part of it is at least for me, I always, I don't know, wanted to train super hard. I grew to like training hard and running more. I didn't run a ton in high school, or I wasn't super high mileage in high school, but I don't know, when I saw a performance boost or improved performance when I was running higher mileage, and then being more dedicated to training and running. I'd say one thing is, I guess, about being part of a team is knowing that all your teammates, they might not all have the same goals as you, like, or at least they might not be as crazy about running like 80 to 90 mile weeks as you, and that's okay. Because if you put like college, cross country, and track as like the most important thing, I mean, it's the most important thing in your life. I don't know. Some people that gets stale for them, or as they go through college, like over those 4 years, their priorities might change, things might change. They might find a different pathway that they find more fulfilling than that. Because over the years, like, some people or some of my teammates, they, I don't know, maybe weren't as motivated to train, or they had other priorities in life, and you have to realize like that's okay. And I don't know, I'm trying to think of a concise way to say what I mean, but
Basically, like they weren't as disciplined or invested in the program or in the training like you guys, like some of the other guys were.
I mean, I'd say, I mean, it's not to like bash on them or say like they were bad teammates, but I think you have to be willing to, you have to learn that like college athletics isn't the most important thing in people's life. And it's, if they find something else that they enjoy, that's great too. I mean, because there are more important things. And if, I mean, sometimes it's like Forrest Gump when he's like, well, I didn't feel like running anymore. I'm done. So I have other priorities.
Well said. So, having a twin brother who's at the same level as you as far as running goes, I don't want to put you guys on the spot again, but I'm going to. Who would you say at that level was a little bit faster than the other? Like, because obviously, anytime somebody asked me and my brother who was faster, I was the always honest one. He probably was a little bit more humble as well, but he had me by a number of seconds. He just had a quicker turnover than I did. He was a little bit faster naturally. Would you say that when you guys competed, NCAA wise, that one was a little bit faster than the other?
Yeah, I'd say once we got to college, I usually was a little bit faster than him, but I think some of that is just in high school, he was usually better at like the mile and 800 stuff, and then I was better at 5K, and then the 2 mile we were on pretty even ground. So I mean, when in collegiate cross country, when they up the distance more, and that kind of helps me a lot more than it helped him.
It just really depended on the event.
Yeah, I think so. And then I remember our sophomore year, we raced a 5K indoors, and I think I was a couple seconds ahead of him, but we both had pretty big PRs that race, so it's hard to say. And then I guess we didn't end up racing each other a whole bunch in college, because I think in after track he was, at least our freshman year, we raced each other a good bit because we were both training for the 3K steeple. So we raced, we had raced 2 times outdoors that year. So, but then, I don't know, later on I developed some plantar fasciitis, so I didn't necessarily like doing the steeple and jumping and landing on it. That was like probably like one of the worst things to feel. So I've moved more to the 5K because I was like, I'm not doing water jumps and landing. It feels like my foot's going to explode, but he was still doing steeplechase. So I don't know. We didn't have, after that point, we didn't have too many head-to-heads because I don't know. I moved more towards 5K and 10K stuff, and he was still at the 3K steeple.
And while we're on the topic, shout out to Benicio Arturo Monteverde Murphy. You're awesome. So while we're on the topic as well as like injuries and setbacks, I know that a lot of probably younger athletes and runners are watching this channel. Can you give them some like motivation or what you did to kind of help aid? And obviously you're going through something right now as well. Kind of give them some advice or feedback onto what you've done that helps you like heal up or at least get a step ahead of others in your recovery? Because obviously it takes a lot to overcome plantar fasciitis and certain tendonitis and inflammation.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the big thing is if you have an athletic trainer working with them and stuff, that's probably the best thing about being a collegiate athlete is athletic training. You have a lot of, great access to getting a lot of stuff that outside, once you're out of college, it's going to cost you a little bit more money to get it done. So you should take advantage while you can get it for free at school. And then, I guess with plantar fasciitis, I guess there's a few things. I don't know if I have anything like crazy universal, but it's like a night splint can help with that. And then doing a lot of exercises to strengthen your foot and stuff like that really helps. Some of it was just, I remember my senior year, sometimes I would just be, if I was just sitting around, I would be doing like, just sitting around watching videos like, okay, I can do toe yoga now or toe scrunches. And I mean, that stuff is free, and you can just find small amounts of time where you can fit some stuff in. And I guess one part of injuries is not getting injured in the first place, which I think a lot of that is doing the little stuff your coach tells you to do so that you don't end up getting injured. And also think weight training helps with that a lot, just strengthening the muscles and stimulating the body in a different way. That way, yeah, you're a little more prepared for all the repetitive impacts, and if your muscles are stronger, or just, yeah, if they're stronger, they're not going to get as beaten up quite as much when you start running or when you're running. Let's see. I guess the one thing is to give it time. If you're injured, like, don't try to rush back too soon. Because I've had that a little bit, where I was doing like rehab exercise and stuff all summer, and then they allowed me, they got after a long enough period of time, I was in a return to running thing, and I was probably over eager to do it. I wanted to get back as soon as I could. So, but then once I got through that, like up to running 30 minutes continuous, I started having just like shin splint pain and stuff like that. So it was just a little too soon. If you think about how much you want to get back running, it's worth taking a little bit extra time just to make sure, versus having to start over again. And I guess if you want to be running all year round, it's worth taking a month or a couple weeks just to be 100% sure, I'd say.
So, what are your current goals right now that you have post collegiately? What are you working towards, and what do you hope to achieve in your career?
Right now, I'm sort of interested in some triathlon stuff and para-triathlon stuff, just because
The general folks.
it'll do. Interest. I don't know. I guess I'm interested in para-triathlon a little bit, and when I did a sprint triathlon. I guess this one was a little bit shorter than a full sprint triathlon in October, but at least I think I qualified as for like age group nationals. Should be this summer, my goal is to go there, and at least for paratriathlon, you can get like officially classified at that event where you have your official classification sort of category you're in, which they use classifications just kind of group people with different disabilities or things that affect them into groups that are more equally balanced or more of a fair playing field. So I guess the goal right now is getting to be going to that and competing well enough. There's also a paratriathlon resident team that's at the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Training Center in Colorado Springs. So you can, if I do well, I was thinking of applying for that and seeing if I'm going up there, because it's like, that's a pretty cool opportunity to be able to train at like the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Training Center in Colorado Springs. It's a
Hell
pretty
yeah.
cool opportunity.
Now, Max, I have to end this with one of the most important questions I have in this interview. Being a descendant of Marcus Aurelius Murphy and heir to the throne at Bear Creek Running Company, do you see yourself one day owning a store like this, or at least doing something in this field in the future?
Maybe, I don't know. I've been interested in going into physical therapy, so maybe have probably not a store, but I mean I don't know. Maybe having inserts or something, or a lot of the recovery gear would be good to have there to sell. I'm not sure. I don't know. But I guess the other thing I might be interested in, if I decide to not do PT, is more of the sports performance and, I don't know, I guess more sports performance and sort of coaching centered. I think that it'd be pretty beneficial, I think, to have that at least like adjacent to a running store or close to one, where you could offer training, or to me it would be a cool thing if you could get like a VO2 max test or lactate testing at a running store, especially as a lot of the equipment now is more accessible than it used to be. So I don't know. I think that could work out and be beneficial, I think, especially because I think a lot more people are starting to care about VO2 max and like lactate threshold. Some of that's with longevity stuff, and some of it's just with like the Norwegian method of like double threshold training, where people have like want to know their 2 millimole, or what pace they should be, is their 2 millimole or millimoles of lactate speed, and then there were 4 millimoles of lactate speed. It seems like it could be something that would be cool, or at least it would make sense business-wise to have next to a store, because it would kind of, I don't know, you wouldn't have to rely solely on retail all the time, and then you wouldn't also have to rely on testing and stuff like that and coaching all the time. So maybe.
That is really cool. And I have to end with this, as speaking of the other one, the boss babe, the other general. Do you find that you inspire people through your story and through everything you've been through? Kind of to walk us through, like, somebody who's watching this who may feel kind of like just down in the dumps, not motivated. They may have a different ability, as I like to call it. They may look different or have something intellectually that's different than other people. Can you kind of just give us some inspiration as to what's helped you along the way and in your life? Not to put you on the spot again.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't know. Let's see. I mean, I guess one thing that was beneficial to me is having a twin brother. So I would, I don't know, I would kind of do everything he does. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess one thing is like, there's probably like a way to do things, whatever that is, like training wise or workout wise. I guess, but that doesn't mean it's like the only way. I mean, some of that is like with shoes and stuff for a while. I mean, I wasn't very good at tying shoes, so I used lace locks and elastic laces and stuff like that. So, but now I've figured out a way for me to tie shoes pretty consistently. Sometimes I mess it up still, but I don't know. I guess another thing is like, I don't know, maybe it's just like stupid confidence in yourself, but not worry about being different or looking weird or something. I mean, 'cause sometimes, I don't know, even with running, if you're like a skinny guy, shirtless, wearing split shorts, running around, you kind of have to be like, well, I don't know. It's like, I might look a little goofy, but like, I don't know. For the most part, it's like, it's been like, well, I'll be running quick so they won't notice it or something stupid like that. It's still what I think sometimes. It's like, oh, well, I'll be running, so I don't think they'll know it.
I don't think they'll see you long enough to notice.
I don't know. But I mean, yeah, I guess, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, big thing is having confidence in yourself and not worrying about other stuff as much, even if it's a silly confidence. Just having confidence in yourself.
That's awesome, man. Well, you inspire me. I think I can speak for the staff when it's awesome to see you succeed. And the Cowtown Half Marathon was a huge accomplishment. Anybody who's ever run in that, when you win a big race like that, it speaks volumes about the kind of person you are and athlete you are as well. So, guys, if you enjoyed this episode with Max, please give it a huge thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Go in and check out the last YouTube video and the last podcast episode. The links will be in the description below. And until next time, we'll see y'all on the other side. Peace.